Sir, what I understand, just because English language is official language in Pakistan. Other than Pakistan, there are a lot of countries they are using English language.
Mhm.
Just because it's a lingua franca, mean worldwide used language, and people are using this language for the communication purpose. So it is well maintained, and you may say people are just learning it and acquiring it also. Uh, there is no any other language that is too much developed as much English, and the people those have, as I have learned, the countries those are in power, uh, their language always dominated language. We can saw in the previous history as Arabic was there, British English was there. Right now, American English is uh, dominating all over the world. It happens with the power of the country, and same it is needed for us, just because everything is English, and we are learning, we are searching for anything we want, entertainment, any field of the life, you should know about the English. Otherwise, you can't get anything, and you are out of the world. So I think that's why English is getting day by day important. And second thing is, we have lot of resources. Right now, you can learn from the videos, you can learn online, you can have any query, and you can get from your teacher. That's why learning is getting much easier than the previous days. And right now, it is a fashion. If you learn English and you know how to speak, and you are a good speaker, people got impressed with it. Okay, you are a good speaker. I still don't believe about this thing. If you are a good speaker, then you are has an influence. It has an impact. Sir, over to you.
Okay, okay, right. You must have listened the views of Sir Zubair Sidra. I want to introduce him as well. He's also doing his MPhil from the University, and he has done his masters from Namal, the same university where Tayyib studies. And he's my classmate right now, and we all are working with an institute, TRELS, which is situated in North Karachi. So now, as I know about your background, you have, mashallah, sufficient. Can see you have a very strong background of English language, and you are a student of TEFL as well. You're doing your masters. So there is a difference in when we go towards language and literature. There's a quite different field, and when we go towards linguistic side. So what do you think when we talk about linguistically? So what do you think that we have a sufficient understanding of English linguistically here in Pakistan in the society?
Sir, I believe what I have in my mind is that if we talk about linguistics, it's all about language.
Hmm.
And if we talk about literature, so it's all about drama, fiction, stories, history of English, French, amalgamation of words from French to English language. I just know this. So
Okay, right.
there, I just
Okay,
share.
okay. So, what do you think about that? Do we need to have English language or promotion of English language in Pakistan? Do you think that it is very much needed, or it is not that much needed? What do you think about it?
I think, sir, it is important because English is an international language. If you
Uh-huh.
go America, if you go China, if you go Canada, so you will have one instruction of medium, and you can express your thoughts, your views to to anybody. So I believe English is important in this aspect because it is an international language.
Uh-huh. So, do you think that whenever we meet someone outside, here in Pakistan, if I talk about, where
Yeah.
people can understand English language, and some people can speak their local language like Urdu or any other language, and you have the command over English language. So, do you think that you have any edge over all those people?
I think so. It's not extremely important if you are in Pakistan and if you are going outside and if you meet a person who is Sindhi or who is Pathan. So you have no any anything important that you can talk to him in English.
Uh-huh.
You
Yes.
can talk to in him in Urdu as well. It's
Uh-huh.
okay.
All right, all right. So, Sir Zubair, you talked about the language and the use in Pakistan, and I want I want your opinion regarding the way of education in Pakistan, like the literature which is being dealt here. in different schools and colleges. So do you think that it must be included in our metric system as well? Like if we find literature, some novels are included, some short stories or poems in the syllabus of Cambridge, and we don't have sufficient literature or short stories or some other kind of thing uh, in a metric system. So, do you think that this is a drawback? And if we include these kind of things in that syllabus, their syllabus, in metric syllabus, so it can have good impact here, or we can compete with the people. Like if we want to compete to the people who are living in India, or since we have a similar kind of surface here, and we want to compete to some other South Asian countries. So, do you think that we feel that we have very limited opportunities? We have limited number of students who can participate in these kind of international forums. So, do you think that it can be helpful if we include these things like literature, some literature at least, in our metric system?
In 2 points here. First is the priority of our government, what they want.
Your voice is quite low right now.
Sir, are you getting?
Yes, I'm getting a little bit. Yes.
Yeah, actually, I want to discuss 2 points here. First one is the intentions of our government, what they want. In 10 year ago, government of Punjab, they decided all of the syllabus in metric system that should be in English, and they got flopped. And there are a number of reasons just because they got flopped, uh, but it happens. And the second thing is there are in Pakistan there is not only a single centered system there which they can be controlled. Actually, there are number of systems. Cambridge system, Madrasa system is there. For, our government schools are there. They have actually too much difference in between them.
Mm.
There are number of boards are there, and they are controlling according to them. Not only any single uh, policy for the language and rest of the education system too. So that's why we are facing the problem, and
Okay.
it is needed in everywhere right now. There should be a policy and SOP there,
Mm.
and when we talk about the English language, it has too much beings right now in the world, and it needs. They are making it flexible to us right now. They are accepting each and every accent of what we are talking about. They only focus on if you are talking about anything, you should convey your message. It should be like a tool of communication. So in education system, we need a lot of, you may say, there are they need new systems, and right now there are the problems. So what I think.
Okay. The problems in syllabus you are saying, you are talking about. Okay, Sir Ehtesham, you have joined us. And Sir Ehtesham is also doing his MPhil from Mecca University, and he had his master's degree from Nambil. So, sir, thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum, and I welcome you here on this forum. Okay,
Walaikum salam.
okay, Sir Ehtesham, we were talking about language and English language and the teaching of English language, and we discussed about the curriculum of Cambridge system, what they have, and initially we talked about the linguistic aspect of English language. So I just want to give you a kind of gist of the discussion what we already have here. So we were talking about the do you think that English language must be taken into a serious consideration here in Pakistan, and the work which is being done right now, it is not sufficient, and we have to improve our working, we have to take some other measures to acquire this language? Or do you think that it is needed to have English language to compete on world level? And then I talked about the use of literature in our metric system, as Sir Zubair was discussing about it. And I asked to the same question to Sidra as well. She's also a very good speaker of English language, and she has a strong background of this language as well. And we had some discussion before that session as well. So I want your opinion in this regard, that as you know, you have a sufficient, you can say, understanding of language or English teaching in schools as well. So do you think that the system, metric system, can have this kind of stuff, and it can be taught over there? Second thing, I want your opinion in this regard, that online teaching, do you think that when we have this problem of distance learning, so can we have English teaching online, or I must say that online classes of English language? Do you think it is possible and we can have sufficient impact on it?
Okay, sir. I will go very briefly. I will go from the beginning, how I started, learning, and my personal experience.
So please, thank you,
Okay.
thank you. Yes, sir.
So my grandfather was like a very educated person, and uh, other people in the relatives, they come to learn from him, especially English grammar. Okay, so we have people coming from all over Pakistan and relatives to our grandfather to learn the English grammar.
Mashallah.
Okay, so my mom also learned the English grammar from him, and she taught us the English grammar, the perfect English grammar rules. Though my mom is not able to speak English, she's not able to, read very well, but she just, did it. In the school timing, she taught us. She make us like to understand English. She did all the efforts, but the grammar side of her was very like amazing. You wouldn't have an idea. If you ask anything about grammar side, she's like perfect, though she does not know any vocabulary of English language. So what happened to me is that same. I learned the grammar side very well, but again I had faced the problems with speaking of English and reading, because in our system the reading does not very encourage and speaking is not very encouraged. That is why we face the practical problems. We have the writing skills, the best of the best. Maybe we are the best writers, better than the native speaker, because they don't write much we do. They speak a lot. So whatever you do more, you will become a master of that. And now what happened after matriculation, you started to get all the education in English. But the problem is the teaching method is like bilingual. So again you're facing that much problems. Unless and until you start reading by yourself and you start speaking the language by yourself, you will not become the master. So when I moved to Canada and I got the full exposure of speaking English, my accent automatically become like so much Canadian, and I started to learn so much slangs and each and every vocabulary that my elder brother even said, like, please kindly talk to me in Urdu. I am not able to understand you. And once I came back to Pakistan, I got the Urdu exposure. I forgot all of that, because that was I was in the race of getting all those information by first hand knowledge by the native speakers. And now I am in the bilingual environment, it is not possible, and it totally makes sense. So the thing is that you can try, you can watch movies, you can read books, you can try speaking, but you cannot create that kind of environment which you get in like Canada or America in the native speaking environment. Because if you don't get if you're not able to get money, if you're not able to get food, you have to speak the language. So it necessity is the mother of invention. So that makes do things. That's one thing. So now still like I'm in high level education, still my understanding of vocabulary is not that, because in the higher level English they use that kind of vocabulary, that kind of allusions that you still need. It's a continuous struggle. And because my exposure is not uh, 24 hours speaking in English, it's not benefiting me. So it's a limited amount of progress. uh, Not everybody like get the accent, they can try. So it's a mixed kind of thing. Whatever you can get, you just do it. I don't know like what much you can do if you focus on uh, implementing more English. The problem is that I have started to forget writing Urdu, and
Uh-huh.
I will forget the speaking of Urdu as well. If you encourage so much English, then I will like forget my language, and I forget my language, I will forget my culture, and everything will be lost.
Okay, okay. Sir, thank you very much for your views. Now, just some words from Sidra, and then I'll ask about another very important thing. So, Sidra, what do you think about it, this virtual education, like distance learning? It can have some impact, and like Sir Hisham talked about the vocabulary or the use of English language. So, do you have any idea about the memorizing of vocabulary? How can we memorize, and how can we use at the specific or needed time? And like I talked about virtual or distance learning. So what is your experience in this regard?
Sir, I believe English is divided into four skills:
Okay.
listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And for me, I believe the first skill, listening, is the most important skill. It makes up the 45% of your language.
Okay.
As far as vocabulary is concerned, I believe vocabulary is also the very important and the part and parcel of our English speaking as well as English language speaking and all the things. So I believe if you learn any vocabulary, so you should go for the practice as well. For example, if you learn any word, so you should make its examples and you should practice in your daily routine with your friends, with your family, with your colleagues. So you can learn vocabulary easily like this.
Uh-huh. By using it, if you are using vocabulary, so it
Is
can
exactly.
easily be can say memorized. And what
Hmm.
about virtual learning? Do you think that if you are having regular classes in school or college or universities, and on the other hand you are having virtual classes, like you don't have any classroom environment, you have to sit in front of a computer, or you have to take online lectures, do you think that both things are equal in their comparison, or we can have some difference?
I think what I have experienced up till now, I think both are equally important and they are doing their part same like that. If you are having a vice class, so it's same as you have the same online classes as we have right now.
Okay, okay, right. Well,
I
thank you very
believe
much.
same.
Okay. Now, I'm trying to move towards the last portion, and that is another aspect of English language, and it very much important. I believe that they have a very good impact in our system, and since we have very short time, limited time, 13 or 14 minutes, I'll start from Sir Zubair. And Sir Zubair, my question is regarding the language centers of Pakistan here, specifically in Karachi. Since we live here, we have some understanding of those centers. We have some experience of learning English language over there. So, what do you think about it? That uh, are they can say having their part in the promotion of English language? Are they participating in the education system, or they are just making money, and they just have a specific and certain outline to go through, and then they leave students in the lurch, like they cannot go out after 3 months. So do you think that language centers, they are participating in the improvement of English language here in Pakistan, or all over the around Pakistan in education as well? So what is your opinion in this regard?
Uh, Sir, first of all, I want to second the opinion of Saret Sham. Just he was telling about environment. Whenever he just shifted from Canada to Pakistan, and the environment changed, and right now he is facing issues, having same accent, same vocabulary, and the things there is not too much exposure to him. So that's why his fluency might be accuracy changed than when he was in Canada.
Okay.
About the language centers, what I think in Pakistan, there
Your
are a
voice
number
is
of
not
people.
clear.
There are
Your
things.
voice is not clear, sir. Keep it closer.
Are you
Uh,
right now?
keep it closer.
Okay. Okay. In about the language centers, what I think, language centers are making their money. Right now, they are just teaching traditionally. They are not focusing on the right way how to improve the grammar and other things about the language of the student. They just think, okay, whenever student has been enrolled and they are getting the fee, and if there is any product of them, that he should know about the speaking of English language. Even though they don't know about the proper tenses and other things, those are related to grammar. And I have experienced one of my honor I know. He has right now 9 branches in Karachi. I have a discussion with him, and he told me, okay, don't worry about the thing. Only 1 or 2 students are there. They will be our product. Rest of 20 or 25 students are there. They're just with us for the earning purpose. So
Just to
don't
feed
worry
us.
about those.
They are
Yeah,
here to feed
for
us.
yeah, they are here for, to feed us. So that's why what I think this the system of these language centers, they are just traditional and they are not focusing on the education system. So
Okay.
what I think they need to improve.
Okay. Thank you very much. Ji Sidra, I'll take your words and then I'll go towards Sir Adisham at last. Sidra, are you here? Okay, I want your opinion in this
Yes, I'm
regard
here.
that you must have some experience of learning some part of English language in centers, or you must have an idea. So, what do you think about their specific role
Uh,
in the improvement of education or English language in Pakistan or in Karachi specifically?
Yes, sir. Actually, I have never learned English from any of the center. Alhamdulillah, I have my very good, instructors at my school and college. They have taught me, and we had English environment at our home.
Okay.
So we speak in English with each other. So in this way, I learned. But as far as you are asking a question that what role they are playing in improving our English language, so I believe it depends on the child that how he or she is acquiring a second language, which is
Mhm.
called ESL, English as a second language.
Yes, yes.
So it all depends on the child that he should be focused and he should be obedient so that he can learn everything very very well.
Uh-huh. Okay.
That's my point of view.
Okay, very nice that you have environment at your home, and like Sir Adisham was talking about that when he returned back to Pakistan, he did not have that much in that kind of environment where he was there in Canada. So you have, mashallah, the environment, so it is quite easy for you to understand
Yeah.
the language and to understand the concepts of language. Okay, thank you very much.
Hmm.
I want to have some words from Sir Adisham, and then I'll finish it up. Sir, please,
Basically
specifically to
the thing,
language centers.
yes, sir. The basically the thing is when you are speaking the language, there are different kinds of language. In the learning centers there are different language, the daily routine language is different, the educational department language is different, the english business english is different. So in language centers we learn different kind of english and it is only limited to that kind of exposure and environment.
Mhm.
So basically when I was like at nipa, going to different language centers and trying to get a job for english language instructor, these they were telling me, back in the day like 10 years ago it was like so much exposure of english. English was very much needed, people were coming from all over the places to get the admission. But nowadays because of some financial problems there's a pull right there, and there is so much traffic, people are not able to come there. There are so much language centers are there, and also the need of english has become lower.
Mhm.
So that is also a thing. uh, Nowadays, like the need of chinese has become more, so the english has lost its culture. Also the economics are of america is going down, so that is also a concern. So there are so many reasons and factors back in our mind to learn something in language. And first thing is that if you are not learning something from your will by your heart, you will not able to learn. आप जबरदस्ती किसी को जो है वो कहते हैं कि नहीं पढ़वा सकते। इससे बेहतर ये है कि आप बच्चे के अंदर शौक पैदा कर दें कि वो इंग्लिश पढ़े, या उसको जो है वो कहते हैं कि लफ्जों के अंदर मजा आने लगे। जब उसको लफ्जों के अंदर मजा आने लगेगा तो वो नॉवेल के नॉवेल पढ़ जाएगा और जो है क्या कहते हैं कि बोलने लगेगा। इंस्पिरेशन इज द वे, you cannot like impose any system. It's more of a
Understanding.
uh, yeah, love kind of thing for the language, that's
Okay.
what more required.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. I say to all of you, you have spared some time, and we all were together here on this forum. This is not a kind of lecture actually. This is a kind of discussion which is needed right now, and I'm trying to have more participants in coming. It could be a kind of series in coming sessions, and I'll ask you all of you please spare some more time for this kind of activity, so we can improve this language, or some can say education of Pakistani environment. And what I think that language centers, they are playing their part. At least they are making the locals aware with the language. If we uh, take out this system of language centers from our education system, so we can have a flaw in between. We cannot which cannot be filled by schools and colleges and universities. Like Sidra talked about his own school and college, we have some schools and colleges and universities where we find English language or English speaking environment. But a part of those entities, we don't have in general environment where we can understand this language, which is very much needed for all of us to compete around the world. So I say thank you very much, Jazakumullah Khaira, for your
Sir,
time.
just one thing I need to mention, that
Yes, please, please.
you know, the education is started from the home, right?
Uh-huh.
Why there's a need that kids need to send to school to get the education? Because parents does not have time. Why the kids need to send to those language institutes? Because the school teachers are not doing their job. So because of that, there is so much create the need of language. Even like, you can reduce those. You don't have to, do put so much pressure on the kids. These days there is so much pressure on the kid that he has not any time to enjoy. He has so much burden of, it's like, gadhe pe kitabin ladna. He
Yes.
has to do, otherwise he cannot survive.
Uh-huh.
School life is so tough, and
Okay.
students hate it.
Okay, right. So thank you very much, Shamsa. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We can have furthermore sessions, inshallah, and I'll send you invitation, and you can have some sessions, and all of you can design any kind of session and topic, and we can discuss on that topic as well. So thank you very much, Sir Zubair. Thank you very much, Sidra, and thank you very much, Sir Ehtesham, for your precious time. And assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Walaikum assalam.